Good evening, everybody. This is an emergency broadcast tonight. Welcome to Kingdom Lum Small Town in the ground. Thank you for joining me. Just getting everything set up. Getting all my ducks in a row. We will be going live here with Colton Moore in just a few minutes. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to set up just a little bit of context here because today was my off day, right? Today was my day off fixing actually putting in an alternator for my daughter's vehicle, minding my own business, leaving my wretched phone in the other room while just listening to some chill music. And the beeps start going off, and they start going off, and they keep going off. And it's like, I pick up my phone, and excuse my French, but it's fitting. All hell has broken loose again daily here in the state of Georgia. So if you don't already know why we're doing this emergency broadcast, it's simply because, well, let's pull it up and look real quick here. So from Breitbart today, and I'm going to pull this up so we can get a little context. Exclusive. Georgia Senate GOP caucus oust senator for trying to remove Fani Willis from office. So we're going to go into this just a little bit. This is from Breitbart. A lot of speculation about how this got out because people found out about it on Breitbart before anybody really knew. And of course, you know, all the rumor mill is swirling. So let's read a little bit of it because in a few minutes we'll be able to hear from Colton Moore himself. The Georgia State Senate Republican Caucus voted on Thursday to remove State Senator Colton Moore from the caucus for taking a first step in August to defund, investigate, and possibly impeach Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis, who levied 13 counts against former President Donald Trump. In a letter to Governor Kent, Moore announced his initiative in August. We all remember this. To begin an emergency session to conduct a thorough investigation. What was he doing? Emergency session to conduct a thorough investigation into the actions undertaken by Willis. Now, we've seen tons of evidence come out about how weak this case is, about how outside money from other places, including New York, has come into this. A lot of things at play here. And what was he doing? Asking for an emergency legislative special session. All right, and this is how it comes out. The governor can call an emergency session, or one can be called if 3/5 of both legislative chambers sign a letter demanding it. Kemp and state Senate Republicans apparently oppose working to investigate, defund, and impeach Willis and instead ousted Moore. Today's removal is a direct result of me calling on my Republican colleagues in the Senate to do their job and sign on to an emergency session to investigate Fani Willis, Colton said in a statement. All right, so I stand by my Republican principles. I stand by my Republican platform. I will continue to serve as a Republican senator from the great state of Georgia. Unfortunately, now I will be forced to refer to my colleagues who ran on being Trump conservatives. Whew. Okay, so there is your, there is a little bit of just a quick look into what is going on. Also, I wanted to. For further context, if I can pull this up, I wanted to show the tweet from Colton before we get him on the phone. We'll set everything up so everybody knows. This is the tweet from Colton Moore. The Georgia Rhinos responded to my call to fight back against the Trump witch hunts by acting like children and throwing me out of the caucus, but I'm not going anywhere. I stand by my Republican principles. I stand by the Republican platform. I will continue to serve, and I just read that to you. The people of Georgia are 100% with me. You got that right. This is the fight of our lifetime, and I will continue to double down to defend the rule of law and do what is right. I will continue to expose Fani Willis and the Rhinos for covering her. Help me fight back, and he needs all of the help that we can get. So without further ado, we are going to get Mr. Moore on the phone. So everybody just hang on.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Moore. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing well, Roy. How are you?
Oh man, I'm fit to be tied right now, buddy. I'm extremely angry. So, just to give you a little context of where I was. I was just minding my own business on an off day, working on a vehicle, and my phone started blowing up about all of this. So we certainly appreciate you taking your time out of your evening to talk to the people. So
No, absolutely. Thanks for having me on. I mean, it was a complete and total surprise to me this morning. I had met with some kind of auxiliary members of the caucus who aren't members of the caucus but work for the caucus over the last couple days, and they said let's sit down and have a meeting with leadership and talk some things out. And when I get there, they present me with this letter of suspension from the caucus, and I told them, I was like, guys, this is the absolute dumbest thing that this caucus could be doing right now. They said, well, if you would just meet a couple conditions, like publicly apologizing for going after Bo and Shelley Eccles, two senators who, there's been a lot of concentration on because of some of their actions in the past couple weeks, saying that I'm just a liar and a grandstander in my efforts. And anyway, the conversation just went downhill from there.
wow.
And they said, you've called for primary challengers, and that's against caucus rules. And I was like, well, I've called for primary challengers, but that doesn't necessarily mean Senate colleagues. Certainly called for primary challengers in many of the House races. I said, but what we're creating here is a self-fulfilling prophecy, because if I'm not in the caucus anymore, then, that gives me full right to go out and find primary challengers. Mm-hmm. They said, well, we're kind of worried about your district because, a senator should be really concerned about, bringing home the bacon, essentially is what they said. I'll paraphrase. And I said, well, gentlemen, as much as I want to have new caution lights and I want the library to get some grant money, none of those things matter if we don't have freedom. And
Amen.
Right now, the biggest fight in our state is for the fight for freedom. We are the front lines right now. This was something that people would watch from a distance, something you would see in Washington, D.C., and you thought, well, it'll never come here. Well, here we are in Georgia, and I've got a fellow senator who's facing the rest of their life in jail. And what did this fellow senator do? All they did was express their First Amendment rights to question the integrity of an election. They followed the process that's been given to us and been used since the revolution itself.
Amen.
And if these rhinos, because I'm still a Republican, Roy. As a matter of fact, I think I'm the most Republican senator down there.
Sure.
And we have now distinguished a rhino caucus and essentially a Republican caucus.
You are absolutely 100% correct. This is crazy.
They said, well, now that we're in our separate lanes, we could come after you. And I was like, well, that'd be great. I said, to my understanding, Jeff Mullis already has two people lined up to run against me. I said, so the more the merrier. Go split the ticket down.
Wow. I'm amazed at how, just what you said, like the clear vision of the rift that is happening here in the Republican Party, and how people are outing themselves as literally the establishment politicians versus for the people and what the people want and what's right and transparent. It's astounding to me. I don't know if you keep up with Hank Sullivan and some of these revelations that are coming out. I covered it last night on my show, and I'm not going to go into it, but I'm saying all of these darkness, it gets brought to light. But this will be a huge backfire on this Republican establishment in the Gold Dome, because they're showing their cards. I don't even understand how this is legal. This was not a vote, correct? This was like an executive vote. Am I wrong about that?
Yeah. So the way it worked is, the caucus never went on record.
Okay.
Voting me out. The letter that suspended me from the caucus was from the leadership of the caucus, excluding one member, and that was Senator Matt Brass. He was the only one who didn't sign.
Okay.
But those who signed to oust me was the President Pro Tem, Kennedy, Senator Gooch, the majority leader, who was very surprising. This guy represents one of the most conservative districts in the state.
Right.
He represents north central Georgia. His constituents don't look much different than the constituents in northwest Georgia.
Right.
Then we had Senator Randy Robertson from down around Columbus, and we had Senator Jason Anavatarte, who was very shocked that he would sign this type of letter. I mean, this is a guy who, has been a great friend, and
a Second Amendment advocate,
been championed as a conservative. So for him to suspend me like this is quite surprising. And then you got Senator Larry Walker, who represents Perry, Georgia, and down in that way. But the caucus basically, to my understanding, had a deliberate debate, and they didn't make the decision themselves. They let leadership make the decision.
So you're saying I'm pulling. I don't know if you can see it. I'm pulled up the list here from. This is on Twitter from the Real Political Savvy. So you're saying that Matt Brass did not vote for this. Was there a reason why, or was he just not there?
I don't know. He wasn't there this morning. So he didn't sign the letter.
You have no. You just got pulled into a meeting and basically told, "Hey, we this is how we feel, and if you'll play ball with us, if you'll just stop doing this, or maybe come out and apologize, then we don't have to do this." Is that basically what's happening
and
here?
I told him, I said, look, there is no way that I'm going to regulate my freedom of speech and the 200,000 people that I represent in the defense of freedom itself. I mean, What am I doing? I am defending freedom, and it's very evident. It's the people's First Amendment rights to question the integrity of an election.
Absolutely.
And they want to stop my voice. They want to stop the 200,000 people in Northwest Georgia who don't want their tax money funding Fonnie Willis. I mean, $3.5 million is what we give Fonnie Willis of Georgia taxpayer money. That's mine and your tax dollars.
Correct.
And yet these same Republicans that just ousted me from the caucus, or I can't even call them Republicans anymore. They're rhinos. No, these same rhinos said that a special session would be a waste of taxpayer money.
This is insanity.
$75,000 a day is roughly what it costs to run a special session, but that would be a waste of money. But not the $3.5 million that we're giving to a complete, total tyrant. Who's taking on political prisoners.
I mean, did the Hadron Collider really split us into an alternate dimension where we blinked and we're like in this idiocracy world here? I mean, I can't even wrap my mind around this, Colton. I can't even understand. I don't even understand what you did wrong, because if you came out and wanted a special session, and we understand that it requires either the governor to approve it or 3/5 of the vote, right? So either way, all you're asking for is a thorough investigation onto what is going on here. What did you do wrong? Why are you getting ousted from the Republican caucus? I don't understand this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't either. I think it's wind in my sails, though.
Obviously,
it brings so much light. I can. But before this, I could say these are rhinos. But now they've shown
proven
themselves.
They've ousted themselves. Yeah. So obviously, we have much bigger problems in the state of Georgia than we ever imagined. Correct? I mean,
yeah, there's no doubt about it. But I mean, the first step in solving a problem is recognizing that we have one. And,
right.
I think more and more people are starting to recognize that. More and more people are getting involved. I mean, I've probably had 6 or 7 different phone calls today of people from all across the state who are trying to find ways that they can get involved and start running for office.
Yes.
I mean, these are regular, everyday people, the same people that have been calling their senators and calling their state reps, calling for this special session, and have been, the calls keep getting declined.
God have mercy.
These people are ready to run for office. And right now there's no better time to do it.
No, I can't agree with you more, Colton. I mean, I can't. I mean, you know how passionate we are up here in the 14th district. We've stood beside Marjorie and saw her through all of her things. We finally got rid of our establishment politicians. We've gotten a senator who, by the way, if I would publicly thank you for all of the bullets that you're taking. Thank you for everything that you're doing, standing up on the right side of things, regardless. And so many times I have these conversations with people about how, well, what Colton's wanting is not really going to happen. I said, you don't understand the point. The point is I'm not expecting it to happen. What I want is I want my constituents to hear my voice and to stand up for me and to put draw that line in the sand about where we're at with things. But this is ridiculous to be punished for this. This is clearly political. This clearly goes beyond the bounds of anything we've ever seen in this state. I mean, the rabbit hole is going deep here.
I mean, it was easier to get rid of me than it was Fonnie Willis.
Well, exactly. And
it's Roy, I just got to send the thank you right back your way. I mean, I appreciate you. I appreciate all of my friends, my family. Everyone in Northwest Georgia that voted to send me to the fight. Yeah. Because this is the fight of our lifetimes. And I tell you, when I ran for office, and I think this is a big distinction between a lot of politicians. A lot of these rhinos that voted me out, they are so worried about their next election. Well, for me, Roy, I'm worried about the promise that I made in the last election. And that promise is what I gave to people at the end of every single debate, where I said, I promise you that I will fight with every being in my body for liberty, for justice, and for freedom. And that's what I have to deliver on today. I have to continue that fight, because if we lose these freedoms, Roy, we never get them back. We never get them back.
You're absolutely right. We should be screaming it from the top of our lungs. The people that call us crazy for standing up and doing this and taking our time, because you are so right. We're this close to losing our Constitution, our freedoms, our liberties, and we can already see in the state of Georgia how far down this goes, how bought out our state government is. We should be fighting with Democrats. We should be fighting with the idiocracy, but we are literally being ripped at the seams in this state because of everything that has led up to this moment here. And it's amazing to me that they have done this to you. Have you read the statement that they released? The official statement? Has anybody read this?
Oh yeah. I mean, I saw it on social media, and I mean, my goodness, there were 20 comments to 1, all pro Colton and anti-Republican caucus. I mean, surely they realized later this afternoon that this might have been a mistake on their part.
Oh, this is well, excuse my, I'm not going to say it. I'm going to be nice. This is bull crap. It says Senator Moore has a right to his opinion. However, during his advocacy for his ill-conceived proposal, Senator Moore has knowingly misled people across Georgia and our nation, causing unnecessary tension and hostility while putting his caucus colleagues and their families at risk of personal harm. Are you kidding me? We just went through an entire indictment of Donald Trump down in Atlanta, and this is laughable.
Yeah, and I'm the problem.
And you're the problem. You're the problem. What Fonnie Willis has done, if anybody that has half a pea-sized brain that can go and look at these indictments and see what kind of a sham this is, and then they're bringing more people up on charges, and it is complete clown world, and they are projecting this onto you for standing up and asking for a thorough investigation? Jesus Christ, what are we reading here? And then it goes on to say, you were informed that you violated multiple caucus rules on multiple occasions and was given every opportunity to simply adhere to the rules going forward, not to abandon his wrong-headed policy position. I mean, this is fodder. I mean, this is.
Well, guess what, Roy? We don't have to worry about any of those caucus rules at this point. We're not part of the caucus.
Oh my God!
Let freedom reign, and the ways that I have been regulating my voice, not to step on the caucus, those are things I don't have to worry about anymore.
Golly,
and, I've never felt more free.
I get it, man. I really do. But this is insane. Taking away your rights for bills and to promote things and taking your power away simply for this, because you will not go along with the status quo. I mean, this is laughable, man. Everybody, I hope these people that are watching this, I hope they can understand that the American people can see every single bit. We can see through this. I mean, this is ridiculous. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to get animated, but like the more that I look at these things and I'm visualizing, I'm listening to you speak, it's making my blood pressure boil.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's a righteous anger.
Oh my goodness.
It certainly is.
Oh my goodness.
There's too much at stake. You know, I told these guys, and it caused some emotion in the room. But I said, if you guys are going to refuse to take action, you might as well just go out there and spit on every veteran's grave.
Sure.
Because those individuals risked everything they had. They gave their life for us to have freedom. And here we are at the front of the battle line now, when our fellow senators are being taken political prisoner, and they could come after any of us. And you guys are literally going to sit down in your chair and not do anything. And I mean, that's the frank reality of it. And unfortunately, I'm the only one in that caucus who is giving them that reality.
I can't believe there's not more.
I don't know if they're bought off by Kemp or what it is. But,
I don't want to say you're not responsible for my comment here. I don't lump you into this category, but I told my viewers last night that Brian Kemp is about this far away from me just completely despising the man. And after all these revelations are coming out, we can clearly see that Kemp's arm of the establishment Republican Party is completely broken off from any of us, from any of the GOPs in the state. They've got their own war chest of millions, multiple tens of millions of dollars that has nothing to do with the GOP. And obviously, they're going to go in a completely different direction, and we're just seeing it. We're seeing everything in real time. And it's rather disturbing. It's rather disturbing.
One of the most disturbing things, I don't know how well your listeners have been following along with it. It's kind of been buried in the news, but I mean, there was the fish fry, the Republican fish fry. And you've got individuals showing up to the fish fry, and they're wearing T-shirts that just say, paper ballots, please.
Yes.
Right? Just expressing common American stuff, their First Amendment right to wear a T-shirt. They walk into this fish fry, the Republican-sanctioned event. The governor is going to be speaking there, Governor Kemp. And apparently, Kemp comes out and tells basically the organizers and the security that he doesn't want to see them at the meeting and that they need to be escorted out.
Mm-hmm.
So with the use of police force, these individuals were escorted out of the room and not allowed to be in the room when the governor spoke.
Yep.
Now tell me, what is the difference between that and Nazi Germany?
Well, exactly. What is the difference between that? You're exactly right. There was absolutely no call for it, not to mention the fact that it was a setup anyway, because when they left, you can wear your T-shirts in here. We don't care. Give me a break, man. Oh, yeah, we saw
you can watch the video. I mean, even the law enforcement officers, I mean, they were rubbing their necks. They were nervous. They didn't know what to do. I mean, they recognized at that moment, they swore an oath to the Constitution, and here the big boss, the governor, is telling them they got to escort people out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And it's like, that's how quick, in an instant, tyranny can reign upon the people, and you've got to be fierce in defending it.
Sure. And while I got you on, I'm sure you're well aware that he signed an executive order back on September 1st that pretty much took some components out of SB 520, the mental health bill, to where he can share and get information from every other agency without any of the public knowing about it, and they can just share it freely. What do you think that's all about?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, while we're on a roll here, let's talk about the border.
Yeah.
Right? 10,000 people a day coming across the border. I mean, in my entire Senate district, Roy, is only 200,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
That means in the last month, we've had 300,000 illegals come across the border. That's more than a Senate district. Think about it. In 2 months, you've got a congressional district almost.
Yeah. And
of illegals coming into the country. Now, what did Brian Kemp say when he ran? He said, I got a big truck to carry off criminal illegals myself.
Yeah, didn't he?
Well, apparently he sold that truck, because all we got now is a strongly worded letter.
Isn't that the truth? Oh, my God. Not only that, but who's griping about it, right? The actual mayors and the governors of these sanctuary cities and states are the ones that are saying that this immigration push is going to destroy their cities. It's not even being talked about in mainstream media or in Republican areas, except for those directly involved, right? This is a sham. Mockingbird-controlled media.
I had that immigration hearing brought in all those Texas representatives, the Texas sheriff.
Yes.
The retired. I don't remember if you remember that or not. But,
we do. We discussed it here. Yes.
Yeah, a really good hearing. And the solution at the end, because everybody on the committee obviously realized there was a problem, and you ask these Texans, first off, why'd you come here? And they're like, well, we're desperate. We can't get help in Texas, so we're literally flying to Georgia to ask you for help. Wow. And I'm like, well, what's the solution? And they said, well, the solution is you have to cost Mexico more in legitimate trade, like refrigerators, car parts, all those things that they legitimately trade. You have to cost them more in those things than the illegitimate trade. Right. The human trafficking, the fentanyl, and all those types of things. And they said that how this worked out perfectly is during COVID, Governor Abbott in Texas, he said any vehicles coming from Mexico had to go through a vehicle inspection. Well, we know how government works, very bad. So all those vehicles started lining up. Within 4 days, every governor of Mexico came to the governor of Texas and said, please open the border back up, because it was costing them so much. It was costing them their entire economy. They couldn't export anything. So if I was governor right now, I would declare an invasion, and that would allow tools like things like tariffs to be implemented. And we ought to be tariffing every single product coming from Mexico. I mean, You walk into a Lowe's or a Home Depot, half of those refrigerators are going to be from Mexico.
Right. Absolutely. And just as we were talking about this, I was wanting to pull up, I don't know if you've probably heard about this. I was pulling up for our viewers. This is from Fox News on the 19th. Texas housing development believed to be housing thousands of illegal immigrants. Have you heard of the story that they're establishing a settlement north of Houston where they'll be able to house thousands of illegal immigrants after crossing? I mean, this is a huge complex of hundreds and hundreds of houses, and they won't even need Social Security numbers to buy these houses. That is a solution to this problem is building these people basically free houses.
You've seen the interviews of the veterans in New York who have been kicked out of veterans housing and replaced with illegal immigrants.
100%.
Like who in the world made that decision that day?
Yeah, right on. Here's another one. I didn't even know this, but I guess one of your fellow colleagues here. Let me pull this up. This is pretty funny. This was from today, the 27th. Representative Hank Johnson, Democrat, Georgia, says immigrants are not crossing into U.S. illegally, but instead are sitting at the border seeking asylum. I'm like, what?
How disconnected can they be?
I just saw that. I'm telling you, we are splitting atoms. They have split us off into a completely different dimension.
I mean, you look at what's going on. I mean, Texas officials they're putting up barbed wire along the border, and then you can see videos of Border Patrol coming in and cutting down the barbed wire. Literally, the federal government working against the state to defend its own border.
Yep, but the immigrants are still taking pictures with their children, though, pretending to climb through this barbed wire, though. I'm sure you've seen some of that. So, yeah, because optics are everything, right? The narrative is insane here.
We're in such a terrible situation.
Oh, yeah, but you know what's the worst possible thing that could happen is we have one senator that stands up and says, hey, this is kind of hogwash. We need to investigate this. We need to look into this, make sure that what's legit and what's not. And then you get punished for that.
Right.
We're in clown world, man. Oh, it's insane to me.
Well, I tell you, I'm gonna keep fighting, Roy. I appreciate you and all of your listeners for continuing to send me back into the fight.
Oh yes.
And I give you my word. I'm gonna keep fighting with everything I got. There's no opportunity to yield.
Yes, sir. And
too many people have given too much.
And I'm going to tell you just a couple of things. Of course, we are working around the clock right now as we speak in multiple groups to get emails sent, get phone calls sent to every single person that is voted to oust you, possibly with without Matt Brass. Apparently, he didn't vote, so we're going to make sure that we update that so we can stay true. Right?
Right.
But also,
don't waste your phone call on Brass when you can give an extra one to Anna Vitarte.
Exactly. So before you go, let us know what you need from us, what we can do to be proactive in this situation. Okay.
Yeah, I think calling leadership is a great idea. Wouldn't it be surprising if by Monday I'm reinstated? They feel that much heat.
Well, that should be a goal to every single person out there. Also, I'm hearing that we could possibly, now I know some of our GOPs in the area have already stood up and they've already made released statements, which is a good thing. I'm also hearing
I heard today Coweta County, Henry County,
Catoosa County
a statement. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Chatham County, they sent out a letter. It says everybody unanimously voted to support Colton Moore's effort to call for a special session, and they sent the letter to their senator and their state reps.
Right.
And that was way down in South Georgia.
Yes. Oh, yes. I'm telling you, we've got people from down in Effingham County that are keeping up with all this all over the place. Also, I'm hearing that we could possibly do a petition to be able to combat this. Do you have any information on what we need to do there? Is there a state petition, or do we just create one?
I think you can always create a petition.
Okay.
And you could go about it many different ways. Call for the special session, or
right. Okay.
Whatever you feel is best.
Okay, and tell our listeners how they can donate.
Yeah, you can also go to coltonmoore.com/emergency, and I've got an official petition that you can sign there. That's from my website. Call for a special session.
Yes,
and
I think we've got that link
coming
too.
Out of the caucus now. It certainly leaves me a lot more vulnerable to all that big Atlanta money.
Oh yeah, yeah,
and. Like you just talked about with Kemp and his big PAC.
Oh my God! Yeah.
I mean, they've got the money, but a guy came to me today and he's like, Kemp's got all this money, he's going to be coming after you. And I said, great, drain the swamp. I was like, I couldn't be more pleased.
Yeah. What have you got to hide?
Such a situation that he has to spend all that money, and then he never has the opportunity to spend it again.
Oh, I can tell you right now, this is just my opinion, right? And I remind people constantly, I'm not the one running for office. You guys need me a lot more than I need you guys. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the truth of the matter. But I can tell you right now, if Kemp thinks that he's going to use this war chest and he's going to run under for a different position or anything, he's sorely mistaken. There's nobody in this state that is going to. Very few people. They have their establishment GOP counties or whatever, but the majority of the people see right through every single bit of this, and if they're not scared by now, they should be. Because you are kicking the bull. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
But before you go,
they hadn't seen anybody come off a Lookout Mountain yet.
Ain't that the truth? I mean, look, dear Lord, we were the ones that got Marjorie elected. For God's sakes, hey, right. You think we're not crazy up here? You've got another thing coming. But before you go, I want to there's so many comments, and you can always go back on your spare time and look at them, and I won't be able to read them all. But Steve Rice, Ray Blankenship, Calvin Cochran, Charles Stoker, Jackie Harling, let's see, Lisa Adams.
Patriots.
Right, and let's see, let me make sure I'm getting every one of them. They've been with us the whole time. Southern Georgia, Jennifer Tudor's here. Let's see, I don't want to miss anybody. Jennifer Jones Hilligus is here. So we've had a lot of people, and they've got a whole lot of comments. So I hope you can go through them at some point and just. We love you, man. We love you. We're behind you.
Thank you.
Rock solid. You know that we have your back up here in the 14th, and we are not going to just sit on this one. We're going to get hands in the game. We're going to let these people know under the Gold Dome whose house that is, and we're going to let them know that this will not stand. So
that's right. Hashtag silent no longer.
That's right. That's where it all started, brother. Listen, I appreciate you taking your time out this evening and look forward to getting you in studio soon. Be careful, and know you need anything, you holler.
Will do. Thank you so much, Roy.
Thank you, Colton. Bye-bye. Well, you heard it, folks. I mean, whew. I'll tell you, I get cold chills just thinking about it now. I cannot believe that this is the way it is. I cannot believe this. This is the biggest sham in the world, and the people's eyes are wide open. We are wide open to this crap, and I go back to what I said last night. This is a complete, desperate attempt by a globalist establishment push for a new world order. They don't like you. They don't want you. You're not part of the game. You're not part of the club. And they have been secretly poking and prodding in the complete other direction to get away from you. I think the sooner you realize that, the sooner that you humble yourself and you realize that these people are not on your side. They could care less about what you're doing. They care more about their prerogative. They care more about their money, their bottom line, their power, which is the same damn reason that we voted Colton Moore in there. Because of the cushy little offices and the cushy little corner offices. Oh, I've got this line. I'm going to hold it. Yeah, you got this line, all right. And here we are. He's lost. He's been ousted. It's rather insane to me. God, I mean, can you just believe? Can you believe this? I mean, like we said at the beginning. I mean, these people are showing their true colors. They're showing you where they're at. I am sorry to the people out there because I have been trying to tiptoe on this whole thing. I am sorry that you don't understand. You know, you can't just go along with the status quo. You can't just go along like just because it says it has an R next to it. You know, this is the opposition. So you heard it out of his mouth. We're going to do it the right way. We need to call Senator John F. Kennedy. We need to call Senator Steve Gooch. We need to call Senator Randy Robertson. We need to call Senator Jason Anaverte. Senator Matt Brass was not there. He didn't vote for it. I don't know what his stance is on it. I don't know if he would have voted for it if he was there, so I'm not going to call him because I don't have a reason to call him, correct? We stand on the side of truth and transparency. So, no vote there. I'm going to waste my time on Senator Matt Brass. Senator Larry Walker III. These are all of the people that have voted to oust Colton Moore for absolutely nothing. Notice the exact same thing that he said to you. He said they basically held this up in front and said, well, if you'll just go out and apologize and you'll just quit doing your little thing, we'll just put this right back here on the table. So how legal is this? How strict is this? How important is this if you can sit there and you can hold it up like a little blackmail and say, hey, you know, if you'll just come on with us in this room, we'll just sit this right down here and it'll be good. We see through every single bit of this. Colton Moore has done nothing wrong. He has stood up for the American people. He stood up for an ex-president who is going through complete bull crap in this state by Soros-funded DAs out of Atlanta, Cobb County, Fulton County DAs that are getting all of this money from all of these other districts and all of these other states to be able to pursue this stupid indictment case that everybody can see through. And you're going to punish this one man for standing up and asking for an investigation. I don't even know where to go with this. And like I said before, I'm not trying to repeat myself, but we knew this is going to be an uphill battle. Nobody was expecting any of this to happen, okay? Nobody was really... 3/5. Brian Kemp already come out and said no. 3/5. Maybe they were scared because people would get on board with it, right? Because the people are supposed to get on board. Representative Charlize Byrd got on board. There's other people that got on board with this, right? But maybe that's what it is. They thought, we're going to have a mutiny on our hands, so we need to stop Colton because Colton just ain't going to stop. You know, this is absolutely crazy. And I don't know, man. I don't even know what to say anymore. So I'm not going to stay on much longer. I set out to do what I did. This is an emergency broadcast. This needs to go far and wide out to everybody, because if we give up, if we stop, you'll never get it back. You're never going to get it back. We all know what kind of year that we're up against. And now that they've done this to our senator, you know, I mean, Every single one of these people are going to be primaried. Every single one of these people will be primaried. Brian Kemp is finished. He's a lame duck. Now he's doing executive orders, for God's sakes, because he's a lame duck. There's nowhere that these people are going to be able to hide. We see through every bit of this, man. And shame on you people for not stopping this sooner, for not turning yourselves around, for giving in to this and giving our state away. Because I'm going to say it to you, you people down there in the Gold Dome, you're the reason why this state will turn Democrat. It's not my fault. It's not the people's fault. It's your fault. You people are working to destroy this Republican Party, this state, and you are the reason this is going to turn to the Democrats. The Democrats are just kicked back in their chair just laughing right now, laughing about all this. It's your fault. It's not my fault. Your gaslighting bullshit's not going to work with me. I've done nothing. The people I know that have done nothing, the grassroots people that are fighting so hard have done nothing but try to strengthen the Republican Party and bring people in. Notice about Jeff Mullis. How many times do you see Jeff Mullis at a Republican meeting or a GOP meeting? Your state senator for 20-something years. How many times do you see any of those people at any of these meetings or saying, well, I know I'm out, whatever, but, I want to see the Republican Party move on. I want to see it get better. I want to see it get strong. How many times do you see these establishment people out there? You don't. They don't give a shit. They don't care. They don't care about nothing. I still have the video. I still have the video of Jeff Mullis as I was talking to him respectfully. And after about a 5-minute long conversation out on the sidewalk, he said, well, did you vote for me? I said, no, I didn't vote for you this last time. He turned around and said, I didn't want to speak to you, and walk away. All I'm saying is you don't see any of these people trying to make the party better. You don't see any of these people they're all hiding in the shadows. They've all broken away in their own establishments, and it's kind of sickening right now. But you guys are the reason. It's not the grassroots, and we know this, but I just get tired of seeing this crap. So let's do some comments real quick. Charles, the Senate leadership, they're a waste of taxpayer money. Yeah, you're right about that. Every single one of them will be primaried if we even have an election of 2024. I'm not completely 100% convinced that we are going to. And every single freaking day when I'm outside trying to enjoy the weather, something like this happens that just kind of revitalizes it into me that we are not probably going to survive this politically. So, Calvin Cochran, they are funded by the left. You might be onto something there, brother. You might be onto something. So, Steve Rice, thanks for your support for Colton. Let's see. Jackie Harlan, God forbid he uses his First Amendment rights. Apparently, it doesn't amount to a hill of beans anymore, right? I mean, look at the Floyd County debacle down there. If they'd have just left the Etowah people alone and just let them do their thing, because they already had to move so far, had to move so removed so far from even being able to be effective, but they still wanted to make a point. By God, we're going to make a point down here in Floyd County. And they have very little support from their Republican GOPs either. So go figure. I'm not worried because of what happened in Hawaii. They are primed to burn our district because it's, yeah, well, it is very dry. And Lord knows we want to go down a rabbit hole about Maui. My God, yeah. Jackie says we're behind you, Colton. Yes, we are. We are behind you. Hopefully, we're going to see more statements coming out from our GOPs completely denouncing this as we move on to rebuke this idiocracy. Steve Rice says Robertson is a joke. Let's see here. Is that one of our boys here? Senator Randy Robertson is a joke. Okay. Well, I'm about to send a message to Randy Robertson. So, Ray says, we have your six while standing by your side. Yes, Colton is well aware that we have his six up here, and we are by his side. I have given Robertson an earful tonight. We'll appreciate you, Steve. You are jumping ahead of the gun and giving them down the road. They need it because this is ridiculous. Charles Stoker, call out the rhinos. Josh McCoon and David Schaefer are establishment that are inside the GOP chair, and GOP past chair are stone cold rhinos. Charles, I can't neither agree with you or disagree. I don't know enough about them, but I'm learning stuff every single day. So if they are not what you say, let us hope that they can show us that they are not what you say. Charles, the Senate leadership, they are a waste of our taxpayer money. Amen. Steve Rice, anything I can do to help remove Robertson, amen. Well, good. What you need to do, Steve, is you guys need to go ahead right now, and you guys need to get together, and you need to pick out somebody to primary this man right here. You need to find people that will primary him and get rid of him, and you need to get on it now, because we are on a mission. This is a war. We are at war. They have started this war. It's already been going on, but now it's getting personal. So Mr. Randy Robertson should be removed for his actions here, and you need to, in your area, you need to primary them. So I told Robertson I'm glad I didn't vote for him last election. Yeah, I've told a couple that before too. Let's see, Calvin Cochran, bullcrap is better. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Let's see here. Fani is a racist. Well, she's got racist. Her parents have racist ties too, but you can't talk about that. Only, I guess, if you're Fani Willis, you can't be a racist, right? So keep reading, Roy. The last sentence is hilarious. Sorry about that if I didn't get it. Randy Robertson called him a liar. I have the text. Okay, gotcha. Lisa, they all have sit down and shut up disease. Ain't that the truth? I mean, obviously, holding it over somebody's head like that. That's how our politics work here. You know, that's ridiculous. All right, let's see. Same Southern DC. Thank you for showing up. I must have missed you. But I also have the text that proves Randy Robertson is the liar. Okay. Hey, like I said, you need to primary him. That T-shirt hurts my feelings. Take it off. Yeah. That fish fry was insane. It was insane. So there was so much good stuff that come out of that. I mean, wow. And that's really when things started breaking down. You know, I think it's hilarious. I was screaming about this 3+ years ago. They aren't the fashion police. Yeah. Let's see. We're going to continue fighting alongside of you as well, Senator. That's what we need. We need people from all over the state. We need the entire state of Georgia on this. We need the entire state of Georgia voicing their opinion. Voicing it. If you don't like the fact that Colton Moore was ousted by these Senate leadership, you need to let your people know. Even if it's not in your district, if it's coming to a theater near you, it just shows you that one senator was willing to stand up against all odds and say, this is some BS and I want it investigated. All right, what happens when you get that senator down in your state, in your county, in your district, and they do the same thing to them for stepping out of line, and they sit here and they go, "Oh, if you just be quiet, we'll put this over in the corner." You see, so it does affect every single one of us. We need to send a clear and concise message. We have the grassroots in this state. Like I said, we should be fighting. We should be fighting against Democrats. I mean, we don't even need to fight with Democrats. I mean, we just sit there and just stand on our ground, and they make themselves look like fools. And here we are with this rhino establishment that is completely out of bounds here. So, Jennifer Tudor says we've got your back. Text sent to everyone, and we'll text more tomorrow. Jennifer Jones Hilligus, go get the grand jury presentment that was submitted in Walker County and stop this nightmare by ending the use of Dominion voting machines. Stay focused, and let's get back to paper now. Colton, it's stuck in your own county's DA's desk. That is correct. There's some things going on there. Let's see. Chattooga County supports Colton. Thank you, Chattooga County. I'm sure they've already put out their statement. I haven't seen it yet. Let's see. Steve Rice, I want to help. Thank you. Hate these freaking politicians. From Jennifer. I ain't leaving till you kill me. Hey, I wouldn't doubt that the desperation will get to that point. So, Jennifer Tudor, I hate what they're doing to the state, to our Constitution, and to our country. They think they can do whatever they choose. That's absolutely correct. Rules for thee, but not for me, constantly and always. So, and you imagine what they're putting on Colton, right? And he's standing his ground. So imagine the people that started to just kind of veer off in that other lane and got pulled right back in before they even had a chance, you see. So let's see here. Steve says, I'm going to expose Robertson's corruption to as many of his voters as I can get to listen and look. There you go. And Jennifer has put some really, really good information on here. And let's see. This is, you can actually copy and paste this, which is really, really good stuff. It's too long to read. And then Jennifer's also put in the comments all of the people that were involved in this, voting for this. So let me just look down here. And there it is. Zia Bettina, we the people will never give up, never surrender. Amen. And we are constantly thinking about you guys over there in Floyd County, and we're constantly watching everything that is going on. You're doing good work. Continue to be the disruptors that you are. Steve, peace, brother. This tyranny will not stand. You're correct. More thugs under the gold dome than in Fulton County Jail. Obviously. So Ray says he goes behind closed doors to do his business. Yeah, this was another one of those backroom deal meetings, you know. Quid pro quo. You do this and we'll take this. You know, it's bull crap. Let's see here. I'm going to go down. Living in their glass houses and throwing stones. Amen to that. Jennifer talks about Angela and Brad. If you're not following that, I released a Rumble video. I didn't release it. I shared a Rumble video last night of I believe it was a commission meeting where Brad Barnes was going through this permit debacle. It's worth to watch. It's worth looking into. You know, it sets the precedent. So. Let's see here. Renee Perry Baker, Whitfield County GOP supports Colton Moore. Way to go. Way to sound off Whitfield County GOP. We love to see your statements, and we've got to push. We have to have all hands on deck pushing this, okay? If you want something done, you cannot sit back and just count on the select few of people to do it. You need to copy this list. You need to paste it. You need to call every one of these phone numbers, and you need to leave messages. It's so simple. You can copy and paste what Jennifer's put up here, and you can let them know how you stand. Flood them with these calls. Let them know that everybody is watching this, and this will not stand. This is bull crap, and we all know it, and we all see it, and you're a bunch of cowards, and you will be primaried. Every single one of you will be primaried for this. I promise you. Jackie Harling, Republicans are supposed to stand for our First Amendment rights and freedom of speech and freedom of thought. It's the Democrats who historically have acted this way. Why are all of our Republicans squelching free speech? It doesn't matter if you agree with what Colton is asking for or not. If you silencing him because you don't agree with him, that is what the Democrats do. Why are you Republicans doing this? I couldn't have said it. That was a mic drop. Why are they doing this? Why are they acting like the Gestapo, like the SS, like Germany, for God's sakes? It's because all darkness will come to light, folks. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that things are in this bad a state. But this didn't happen overnight. And where we are different is that we call out our own because we want to be better. All right, we call out the idiocracy because we want to be better. We want for a godly society. We want for a civilized society. We want the rules of law. We want to protect our families and our children. We don't want to be bought off by big business and corporatocracies and corporations. You know, we really just want to be left the hell alone is what we want. And you are forcing people to not be left alone when you do these things. And it's so clear to see. Whew. I need a drink. All right. It's almost as if they are wanting us to know the truth. Amen. I mean, think about this, for example, and I'll stop this, but I sat with one of my fellow person today. I won't name her name, but I go to sort of a little weekly tinfoil hat meeting of older people, and they've been active for a long time, and they really care about this country. And I'm finding the time that I spend with them quite invaluable because every week we can sit down and we can share our thoughts with no judgment and we can really just talk about things. You know, no matter how crazy they are, no matter how, you know, maybe our opinions differentiate, we listen to each other. And so today I got to sit down for a little while with one of them, and they kind of explained that, you know, this is a spiritual war like you've never seen. This is a spiritual war than we've ever seen, and God is shaking things up right now. He's shaking things up, and you know, I've said it 1,000 times. I grew up most of my adult life as an atheist who found God, and I pray all the time to keep me like centered and based and or in the right direction. But it was profound what she said to me today, that this is a spiritual war and things are being shaken all over. And as bad as maybe we don't want them to shake, and as bad as we don't want to get involved, and as bad as we just want to live our life in peace and harmony, they do not want us here. They want to depopulate us out of this existence. They're going to tax us out of existence. They're going to take our jobs away. The fourth industrial revolution is coming, and these global elitists think that they know better than you. They want to destroy the family. They want to destroy all things good and pure. They want to destroy the Bible and Jesus, and they want to come up with their own artificial religion. There's so many things at play here, and it's decades and decades old, and it's almost as if they're wanting us to know the truth. It's almost like you cannot contain these things. And without a grassroots movement, without people standing up, without more people going to a flea market and finding a microphone in a little box and getting online or doing something, going to your local GOPs, making these phone calls, sending these emails, letting these people know that they cannot get away with it, is the only way that we're going to change this without us going to some sort of physical civil altercation, which is exactly what they want us to do. They want to gaslight us to the point where we're ready to pick up rifles and start marching. You understand, this is all by design. There's no reason for this establishment Republican system in this state to hide it any longer. They don't need to. Okay? It's all out in the open, and expect more to happen. Especially if you step out of your lane and you take a stand. This is why I almost abhor the thought of, well, we just got to win. We got to win. If winning means that I have to give up everything that I hold near and dear to my heart and my family so I can live in a completely controlled society, screw that. I won't do it. So they'll just take me out one night. They can come in here and they can just take me away, because they will have to kill me before I ever give in to this shit. Thanks, everybody, so much for sticking with me. I'm getting off now, and take this stuff down. Call these people, email them, let them know. Go support Colton Moore. If you have money to give Colton, give it to Colton. Let's make a big stand right now. A big stand. So, emergency broadcasts out. You guys.